From the Democratic Club, I want to welcome Jeannie Lepowski and a former backward somersaulter himself, Alan Feldman, talking about his gymnastic prowess in the break. He used to be able to. He said he used to be able to do a backward somersault, but not a forward
one.
Not a forward. That makes no sense to me. All right.
What can I say?
Just more lies from the Democrats. All right, you guys have an upcoming general meeting, and you got a couple featured candidates that you like to highlight, which is one of the things that you guys and the other Republican Club do really well, is like highlight featured local candidates and kind of get them in front of people. So who have you guys got coming up, Alan?
Well, yeah, the election's kind of taking a back seat with all the other stuff going on in the world right now. But it is really right around the corner. For us, it's right around the corner.
Yeah, with the primaries, they really kind of set the stage for the November elections.
That's right. Yeah. Primaries are in June, so ballots will go out in May. And you're exactly right. We do try to bring candidates at this time of year. We try to bring candidates. Mostly time we bring local candidates. We're doing a little different. One of the speakers, we have two candidates scheduled to be at our meeting on March 17th, our regular monthly meeting, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 7 o'clock, Clubhouse 2. And one of them is Michael Tubbs. Michael Tubbs is the mayor of Stockton, was the mayor of Stockton, California. Now he's an advisor to Governor Newsom, and he's running for lieutenant governor. And normally at this time, as you were saying, we would be more locally focused. But a couple of people in the club have sat down and had an opportunity to talk with Michael Tubbs and find him a very interesting guy. Found that his tenure as mayor and Stockton was also a lot of interesting programs. Some worked, some didn't. He was an interesting guy, and people say he's very versed with the issues. So we're really looking forward to meeting him and listening to him, hearing what he has to say. Yeah. And the other candidate we're having is a local candidate running for the California State Assembly in the 72nd District, Chris Cluey, who's the endorsed Democratic candidate for that district. And this is his first run at public office. And as he tells his story, he was a local boy, local guy, graduated Los Alamitos High School, graduated UCLA, went on to a 9-year career as an NFL football player for the Minnesota Vikings. And as he says, I don't want to steal his thunder, but as he tells the story, he was 40 years old. He had enough money. He was retired. He made a lot of money playing football. He was hanging out with his kids. He was playing video games. He was happy. And then he heard about what was going on at the Laguna Beach City Council. They passed a...
And he kind of went viral for a moment he had there. I won't spoil the whole story because I know people want to see it. But it's definitely an interesting stand he took, and it definitely got a lot of attention. So he's definitely an interesting guy to hear from in terms of his beliefs.
Exactly. That's really the story. He began speaking out. He actually his claim to fame, or his first claim to prominence, was being arrested for an act of civil disobedience. But he's continued to talk. He's really a kind of a dynamic, I would say, a very attractive candidate, very attractive person. Yeah. And it's been here a couple of times. He's very popular. And this is an open seat. The 72nd, there's no incumbent running for this seat. Oh, wow. So we really think we got a good chance of taking the 72nd Assembly District. And in April, the details aren't worked out yet, but we're going to have candidates formed. We're going to, lasso as many as we can up and bring them all in.
Terrific.
Bring them all up and, give people an opportunity to see them, meet them, and hear what they have to say.
Yeah. And let's say, even though you say Michael Tubbs is a statewide candidate, those down-ticket candidates sometimes, like, who's this? Who am I voting? If it's not governor and if it's not a state senator, sometimes those down-ticket, even on the state, can be a little bit, nuanced in terms of, I don't know who these people are. So it's great you guys are doing that as well. Yeah. So we got primary elections. What makes them so important this time around? It seems like the Democratic Party has a lot of enthusiasm around that. The polls seem to say this could be a chance to flip some red areas and those kinds of things.
Right, yeah. Well, the flipping part goes back to last summer, of course, with Prop 50. And now there are several states that are kind of taking the same path to do what Trump wanted to do in Texas, what he did in Texas, which was, redistrict. But anyway, primaries have always been really important, but this year especially elections are important because it does, as you say, give us an opportunity to take back control of the House of Representatives. And so that's what we're trying to do. And the problem historically with both primary elections and special elections is that there's relatively low turnout. Right. And so and coupled with that, here in California, or here in Orange County, there are some races, and in California at large, there are some races that are actually decided in the primary.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so if people
And
don't
that's the crazy part,
realize
because
that,
it's like a very blue or a very red district is going to, whoever that primary candidate is, they're going to be the ones, right? So that very low number of voters actually makes the decision for the general
Exactly.
way ahead of time.
exactly. And so we are really trying to highlight all of the candidates. As Alan said, we're trying to bring everybody that we can get to Orange County, to Laguna Woods, so that people can see who they are and be inspired to go out and vote.
Well, there you go. Now, all politics being local, we want to talk. You wanted to talk a little bit about the war in Iran and what's changed this summer. So, I think public opinion and that kind of thing can probably play into these local primaries and these local things that are going on. Even though it's a kind of a foreign affair, it does kind of ring back to what's going on here in Orange County and how it's affecting consumers and prices and things like that, right?
Well, I think we've seen already the effect of some of the prices.
I noticed when I filled up my car over the weekend.
That's the big one. I think gas prices have gone up like 38% or something like that in 2 weeks, and other prices are going to go up too. I mean, it's inevitable, and there's also, I would say, there's probably maybe a little price gouging by corporations at the time, taking advantage of it. It's an interesting thing. It's when you have two militaries attacking each other and killing each other. I mean, you can slither and squirm around the world, but it's a war. It's what it is, and it's a war, and we're at war now in Iran. And to me, everybody's top objective should be stopping the war, stopping the violence. It's usually, the United States is the country that's standing on the sidelines. Well, we've had our military adventures, but usually we're the country that's standing on the sidelines telling the combatants, say, come on, let's figure this out on a peaceful manner.
Right.
And now we're part of it.
Right.
In fact, to the rest of the world anyway, it looks like we started it. We attacked a country going to war.
Sure, it certainly is that. But I want to bring it back to politics. And not to sound cynical, but this is one of the realities of when people put the the politics into these things. The longer this goes, and the more challenging it is to get out, or maybe there's an exit strategy, does play into the folks on the Democratic side of the ticket, right?
Well,
that helps. Not that anybody wants that, right? We all want this thing to be over as fast as possible, but there are people who are making those calculations and saying if this goes badly, it could be even a bigger wave of blue in the primaries and the general in November.
Well, it's very unusual because the war started out as unpopular here in the United States.
Right.
The polling, whatever the polling is worth, it's maybe a snapshot of today. It was 60% of the people were opposed to it, and I think the administration has really failed to give us a clear, concise reason to begin the war and an objective. What's the world going to be at the end of the war? And people are, kind of in the middle here. They don't know how do you support something that you don't know what it's about. You don't know what they want to do it when it's going to end. You're asking people to to fight and die. And we know how wars go. It's not the people in modern day. It's not the people who start the wars. They don't go and fight. Their kids don't go and fight. But my kids could go and fight. My grandkids.
That's rung true since the decades of those Vietnam and those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
Too. So not a lot has changed there. We have just a minute left or so. Jeannie, Orange County Public Schools and Christian nationalism, there's some things going on at the school level that kind of reflects that broader push.
Yeah, and that actually plays back into the primary, because one of the elections that is always decided at the primary is the Orange County Board of Education. And the Orange County Board of Education is notorious for approving charter schools that have been rejected by their home district. Because most charter schools are approved by their home district, and if they're not approved, they appeal to the Orange County Board of Education, and the Orange County Board of Education rubber stamps every single one of those. And a lot of times, one of the reasons is that the curriculum is that they don't have the right curriculum. I mean, there are other reasons too, but what that tends to happen is that we get a lot of religious schools that are funded by the taxpayers that draw draw money away from the public schools, and so it undermines the ability of public schools to teach effectively.
So that's one to take a close look at as we
Yes.
get close to the primaries as well. I want to thank you, Jeannie and Alan, for coming
Well,
in today
thank
from
you.
the Democratic Club.
Thank you very
Folks,
much.
make sure to get out to that next meeting of theirs. Sounds like a good one. Should be fun. Thanks
March
for coming in,
17th,
guys.
7 o'clock, Clubhouse 2.
You're watching This Day. We'll be right back.